Everybody, this is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy. Welcome to lesson number 72. In this lesson, we will introduce the student to the idea of IVE at the end of multisyllable words. And we'll also teach the student about how to add the suffix ing onto the VCE syllable type. Let's get started by setting up the table. You'll need your sight word study method top 160 list, the instruction sheet, the sight word card pack, some blank index cards, a highlighter, markers, and some pencils. The short vowel drill is no longer on the table because the student will have mastered the short vowel sounds by this point. We'll have the phonemic awareness drill, and you'll need the teacher instruction sheet and the colored tiles for the student. For the visual drill and auditory drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheets and the card pack for the student. For the syllable card drill, you'll have to have these cards cut out and on the table in advance. Then we'll have the magnetic letter tile drills for reading and spelling. For those, the student will need the cookie sheet with the magnetic letter tiles spread in a rainbow shape. You'll need the syllable pounding instruction sheet, the new phoneme grapheme kinesthetic discovery sheet, and the sheets for the lesson, which include the scooping syllables worksheet, the single word list, the short story, and the 3 sentences for the writing part of the lesson. For the new section of the lesson, we'll need to have these cards cut out in advance and ready to go on the table. Notice that nothing is scrambled. We're just having the student read straight across the word to form the real word. In addition to all of that, you might have a timer on the table, and you'll need this if you've introduced the fluency element to the lesson, which you'll need to do once the student has solid phonemic awareness and decoding skills. The Orton Gillingham method does not include the fluency part of the reading pyramid, so we need to add a secondary program for this, such as Read Naturally or the 6-minute reading solution. Let's begin with the sight word study method. Student, you're going to need your sight word card pack for this one. You'll read through each of the words in your card pack. When you read a word correctly, you'll put a check mark in the corner of the card. After you're finished reading all the cards, you'll give the card pack to your teacher. And then it's your teacher's turn to read. The teacher will read through each of the cards in the pack, and you'll write them down. And teacher, you're ready with blocking strategies in case the student encounters difficulty. And when you're finished, every word that was spelled correctly will get a check mark in the other corner of the card. Afterwards, have a quick discussion about which of those words has been mastered. Mastered words are removed from the card pack. This will leave space so that if there's time, you can introduce a new sight word. Let's do the phonemic awareness drill. Student, you'll need your colored tiles for this one. Your word is pin. Can you repeat that word? I might say, I put a pin in the pin cushion. I'd like you to build the word pin with your colored tiles. Build it and then tap it and say it. Okay, did you put 3 different colored tiles down for in pin? If you did, that's right. Now, could you take away the in pin? What are you left with? Tap it and say it. Did you say pi? If you did, that's right. Now let's turn it into, find the I in pi and change the I into an I. What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you say pie? If you did, that's correct. Now add a new colored tile to the end of the word, and we'll call it Can you repeat that sound? What's your new word now? Tap it and say it. Did you say pine, like a pine tree? If you did, that's correct. Change the p into a h. What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you say hein? Not a word on its own, but let's change the h into a sh. And what's your new word? Did you say shine? If you did, that's correct. Now, what happens if you find the I in shine and change that long I into an I? What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you say shin? If you did, that's right. Find the sh in shin. Change the sh into a f. What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you say fin? If you did, that's right. You can put your towels away now. Let's do the visual drill. You'll need your card pack for this one. The teacher flashes a card. And what sounds does this one make? You can see there's a 4 right there, so you know there's 4 sounds. Did you say y? That's the sound that Y makes when it's a consonant and it's working at the start of a word. Could be I, that short I sound, which it makes in the middle of a word, like gym. Could be the long I sound, I, like sky. Or E, like baby, at the end of a multisyllable word. Okay, teacher, you can do about 6 to 8 cards in this way. Do the auditory drill. Student, you're going to need the same card pack that you used for the visual card drill. So in this one, I'll tell you a sound. Der. Can you repeat that sound? Now I'd like you to write down the symbols for der. As you do, say the sound again. Then underline it and say the sound a 3rd time. Then we'll check your work. Did you say dr makes der as in drip? If you did, that's right. Teacher, you can do about 6 to 8 flashcards in this way and then come back to me. It's time for the syllable card drill, and your teacher has this one set up and ready to go on the table. You'll read down all the syllables in the left column, and then all the syllables in the right column. Then read across the rows, making nonsense words as you go. Then it's time to unscramble things. You can unscramble the syllables in column number 2 to match up with different ones in column number 1, and you'll form real words. Remember to put some of these words into sentences and to discuss the meanings of the words. Now we're going to do some syllable pounding. You can do this by stretching out your arm, and when you say the target word, you will have your fingers shoot out for every syllable that's in the word, and then you can just count up your fingers. Or you could put your hand under your chin, and when you say the word, your chin drops every time a syllable happens, and so you can just count the number of drops. Okay, your word is explode. Can you repeat that word? How many syllables are in explode? Did you say 2? If you did, that's right. There's the e, the short E sound of Eddie, and there's the long O sound in plode, O. How about this one? Plode. Did you say 1? If you did, that's right. How about this one? Unconfuse. How many syllables? Did you say 3? If you did, that's right. And how about this one? Compose. I will compose a song. There's 2 in that one. Okay, it's time to do some syllable scooping. So take out your syllable scooping worksheet. Teacher, you got the answer key, and you're also keeping an eye on the time so you know how many words the student will be able to complete. Do that activity and then come back to me. You know a lot about syllables. You know about closed syllables, open syllables, and now about vowel, consonant, silent E syllables. What type of syllable is this word? Tell your teacher, and then tap and say the word. Did you say that this syllable is a closed syllable and that the word is dim, as in I will dim the lights? If you did, that's right. We know it's a closed syllable because there's one vowel and it's closed in by a consonant, the consonant babysitter we say. Could have more than one, but it happens to have one here. In that situation, we know that the I is going to say its short sound, I. That's what a closed syllable is. But what if we want to force the I to say its name and we want to keep this consonant? Then we need to add another letter. That's where the E comes in. So what's the new word? That word is dime, and this is a vowel consonant silent E type. So that's all pretty straightforward by this point. We've been talking also about the special situation where we have a vowel consonant silent E, and the consonant happens to be a V. When this happens, the E might be doing one job, or it might be doing 2 jobs. tap and say this word and figure out, is the E doing one job or two jobs? What's this word? Well, this word is dive. So I hear the I, so I know the E is doing at least one job there. It's forcing the I to say its name. But since there's that V, I know the E is also stopping the V from ending the word, because we're not allowed to end an English word in V. So the E is doing two jobs in that case. Today we're going to talk about what happens when we have this IVE in a multisyllable word. When we have IVE at the end of a two-syllable word, the E is going to do one job, and it'll be just stopping the V from ending the word. So this is going to be a short I sound of I. So if we know that this is going to say I, what's the word? That word is active. I am an active person. We're going to do some reading of syllable cards so that you can practice this idea that IVE will sound like IV. Can you repeat that? IV. At the end of multisyllable words, the big words. So what I'd like you to do is just tap each syllable and read each one, then read the whole thing together. The first one's a little tricky, isn't it? Because we have O plus live, and we're not saying the O sound. We're going to say the short O sound on this one, and it's going to be olive. I think the rest are all pretty straightforward. We are going to talk about a second new concept today, which is how to add ing to a vowel, consonant, silent E syllable type. Let's start off with something that we know. So we'll start off with a closed syllable, and we'll talk about how we add ing to a closed syllable. So in every syllable type, there's really a great rule about how to add a suffix like ing, which is an ending that starts with a vowel. So if I want to add a closed syllable like mat, and I want to turn it into mat-ing, the spelling rule happens right here in this spot. Can you talk to your teacher about what spelling rule happens and how we would spell matting? Well, what we'd have to do is we would have to apply the 1-1-1 rule. So one syllable with one short vowel followed by only one babysitter consonant. We want to have two consonants at the end when we're making this addition of the vowel suffix, starts with a vowel, because we're trying to separate the two vowels so that we know very clearly that mat is the closed syllable. So that is how you spell matting. Now let's look at our new syllable type, which is the vowel consonant silent E. So if we have a base like this, how would you read this base? Tap it and say it. A-t. Mate. So that word is mate, and I want to turn it into mating. Well, I can't double the T because that would make it a closed syllable, matting. So we need a new rule, and here's what we do. I'd like you to build this word on your board with your tiles. So build the word mate and then have the suffix ing ready. So can you make your magnetic letter tile board look just like mine right now? And teacher, you can help just to make it nice and quick to get there. Okay, are you there? What I'd like you to do is touch your E. And I'd like you to say these words. Drop the E. Can you say that? Drop the E. Now take this and say, add the ending. So that is how we spell mating. Let's do it again. So we have our base mate, and we want to turn this into mating. So ready? We're going to say it with me. Drop the E, drop the E, add the ending, add the ending. And that's how you spell mating. Let's do a quick check to see if you understand what we're talking about here. So if I showed you a word like this, the question is this word hatting or hating? Which big spelling rule did we apply in between the base and the suffix that starts with a vowel? Tell your teacher now. That word is hatting. So the base was hat, and it's the 1-1-1 rule, so one vowel followed by only one babysitter in a one-syllable word, we double the T. That means this word, if you saw this word, how would you read that? Well, you would read that word as hating, because what happened in this word is we had the word hate, and we dropped the E and added the ending. So when you see that double consonant plus a suffix, that's your ding, ding, ding. That's your big clue that this is a closed syllable base. Let's practice the new things that we've been learning about in this lesson by doing the magnetic letter tile drill for reading. You'll need your cookie sheet with your letters spread in a rainbow shape for this one. Student, can you say T? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Can you say I? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Can you say Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now tap it and say it and make any additions that you need to add. Okay, did you say this word is time? And did you spell it T-I-M-E? If you did, that's right. I am looking at my watch because I want to know the time. Okay, I would like you to turn time into time-ing. So can you take the letter tiles that you need to form ing and add them on to time? Now, do you remember the great spelling rule for vowel, consonant, silent E? When we add a vowel suffix or a suffix that begins with a vowel, what do? And if you forget, you can remember the hand gesture, which is... So just imagine what we did. We did this and then this on our letter board when we were learning about this. Did you spell timing T-I-M-I-N-G? If you did, that's right. Now, can you change this word into timming? Not a word. Timming. If I want that I to have the short I sound, well, then I would double the M. Okay, let's try a new word. So you can put those tiles away, and here we go. Your sound is Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your sound is O. Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. That's your first syllable. So why don't you tap and say that syllable? Did you say mo? If you did this right, it's mo with the long O sound because this is an open syllable. An open syllable has one vowel and the vowel is at the end. Let's do the second syllable. Can you say T? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. I. Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Can you say V? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now make any additions that you need to make and tap it and say it. Did you say that this word is motive? It's like a reason. My motive for going swimming was that I wanted to get some exercise. And it's T-I-V-E is the second syllable in motive. The E is just doing the one job, so the I is saying I. Okay, great work. I'd like you to practice these concepts by taking out your single word list and read through all the words in the list, and then you'll read your connected text for the short story. And then if you've introduced a fluency element, that's where you'll do your timed reading. Now it's time for the magnetic letter tile drill for spelling. Student, you'll need your cookie sheet with your letters spread in a rainbow shape for this one. Your word is give. Can you repeat that word? I might say, I will give her a present. What's the first sound that you hear in give? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in the word give? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the last sound that you hear in give? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now make any changes that you need to make. And tap it and say it. Did you spell give G-I-V-E? If you did, that's right. We're not allowed to end the word in V, so we need to have that E to take that job of ending the word. And how many jobs is E doing in the word give? Did you say it's doing one job? If you did, that's right. It's simply stopping the word from ending in V because the I is saying its short sound. It's not forcing it to say its long sound. Okay, let's try a new word. So put those tiles away. This is a 2-syllable word. So the first syllable, well, I'll say the whole word, active. So you tell me, what are the 2 syllables that you hear in active? Okay, what's the first sound that you hear in active? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the next sound that you hear in active? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. That's your first syllable. So tap it and say it. And let's do the second syllable, tiv. What's the first sound that you hear in tiv? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in tiv? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the last sound that you hear in tiv? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Make any additions or changes that you need to make. And tap it and say it. Did you spell active A-C-T-I-V-E? If you did, that's right. Remember that we learned that I-V-E at the end of a multisyllable word will make the short I sound, I. Okay, great work. Now I'd like you to grab some lined paper and a pencil. We're going to write some single words. I'd like you to tap it out. So say your word, tap it out, then grab the whole word and say the whole word, and then I'd like you to write it down. Your word is home. Can you repeat that word? I might say, I want to go home. Okay, tap it, say it, and write it. Did you spell home H-O-M-E? If you did, that's right. Now I'd like you to add ing onto home. So there's a rule that we have to apply. It's a rule that we learned about today. How would you turn home into home-ing? Like a homing pigeon, homing. Okay, if you're having trouble, remember your hand gestures. Okay, did you spell this one H-O-M-I-N-G? So we drop the E and add the ending. Okay, how about this one? Captive. So there's 2 syllables in captive. So tap out your first syllable, say it, write it down. Tap out your second syllable, say it, and write it down. He was a captive because the pirates had captured him. Did you spell it C-A-P-T-I-V-E? If you did, that's right. Okay, it's time for sentences. So the teacher will read all 3 sentences, and student, you can choose the 2 that will be written. After you write a sentence, I'd like you to use CHOPS to check your work. Let's do a quick review before you go. We've been talking about when we add ing to a vowel consonant silent E word, and when we add ing to a closed syllable. And there's a way that you can always tell if the base is the closed syllable or the vowel consonant silent E. Let's see if you remember. Is this word ratting or is this word rating? Tell your teacher which one it is and how you know. Well, we know the base in this one must be rat because in the closed syllable, that's where the 1-1-1 rule comes in and we double the T. So we're trying to create a situation where there's 2 consonants separating the vowel in the closed syllable from the vowel that starts the suffix. So let's try another one. Is this word matting or mating? Well, that word is mating. And here's what happened. What we did was we dropped the E and we added the ending. Okay, great work today. This is the end of lesson 72. This is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy.